The following is a Stars and Strikes doubles rebroadcast featuring some of our most memorable programs.
Stars and Strikes doubles. Stars and Strikes doubles is sponsored in part by Somerville Lumber. Stars and Strikes doubles is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back once again to the Londonderry Bowling Center, Londonderry, New Hampshire, and Stars and Strikes doubles. Semifinal week continues here on the Winds. I'm Doug Brown once again along with Dan Murphy, and the race for that final doubles position in the Tournament of Champions down to the final three teams now.
Mark Arnold and Billy Hart have been bowling very, very well, and it's been a long time since we had a team start off and allow to win 2 weeks. What they're trying to do now is win 2 more weeks.
Which probably is more than twice as hard to do that. Let's meet all of our teams, all of our bowlers, I should say, our two teams for this semifinal show. If you haven't been with us the last couple of weeks, you've missed a couple of newcomers, and they've been on a little bit of a roll. Our number 5-seeded team from Pepperell, Mass, Bill Hart, and from Dover, New Hampshire, Mark Arnold.
Okay, Bill Hart comes in averaging 128, roll-off score at 666. Mark Arnold at its 121 and 661.
And coming up from that number 5 spot, they've won 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks ago, a 347 to beat Ed Marquis and Al Harwood. Last week, a 359 to knock off Larry Valcourt and Ed Jorelman. So now they will try and make it 3 straight. They face a formidable team, our number 2-seeded team from Hopedale, Mass, Paul Berger, his partner from Needham, Mass, Reggie Deline.
Okay, Paul comes in averaging 130, roll-off score 681. Reggie Deline is at 122 and a roll-off score identical at 681.
All right, the runner-up team in the semifinal here on Stars and Strikes doubles will take home third-place prize money, splitting $250. The winners, of course, will advance to the championship match next week. The winner of that one, of course, moves into the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. We'll tell you more about that as we move on in the hour. We're going to come right back, the first of 3 strings of doubles bowling here on Stars and Strikes right after these words. All right, here's the lineup. We're down to our top 3 teams, but of course, one of our top 3 teams now is the number 5 team. Bill Hart and Mark Arnold have come up from that number 5 spot to knock off our number 4 and number 3 seeded teams, and now they'll give it a shot against our number 2 seeds, Paul Berger and Reggie Deline. The winners of this match, as we mentioned, come back next week to face Norm Bork and Bruno DeFeo in our championship match. So here we go for the 3rd week in a row. Bill Hart steps to the line first, hoping to continue their streak. Oh, my.
There it goes.
Oh. Well,
Didn't look like anything was going to touch the 7 at first, and finally just going into the pit was a piece of wood coming across, knocking over that 7 pin.
Oh, how about another one? Oh,
wow.
yes. Just like that. Win 2 matches in a row, start the next one with 2 strikes in a row. Not bad.
Give himself a chance to loosen up. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wow.
This is an important pitch then. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Paul Berger now.
5-7-10, makeable with the wood. Very makeable if this wood comes over and nestles against this 5 pin. It's going to. Rolling back a little bit. Gonna catch a little piece of the right wood and the 5 pin.
Oh, yes. Nice shot by Paul. You're going to be seeing a lot of Paul Berger in the weeks to come, one way or another. He converts the 5-7-10 for the spare. Paul is qualified for the singles Tournament of Champions for the 5th year in a row.
6 on the fill. Right through the middle. 4-7 and the 6. Oh, almost cut that over.
And the 9.
Well, and though this early in the match, one ball could be very important, but here we have it. Double strike working for Mark Arnold. Chance for him to really build up an early lead for his team.
Well, he needs a little more mix. He'll get 6.
4, 5, 7, 8. Wood in front.
Oh, somehow the 8 pin is still there. It's a quick 20 pin lead, though, for the team of Hart and Arnold after just 2 boxes. 54 through 3. As Mark Arnold moves over to lane 29 here at the Londonderry Bowling Center. Oh, right in the pocket again.
Will the 7 pin go this time? No.
How much would he have liked that ball a box ago? Yes, sir. Spare in the 4th. Outstanding game working here early for our 2-time defending champions. Reggie Deline now.
A little short approach for Reggie, right in the pocket. Everything but the 4.
Now, Reggie only uses maybe 4 or 5 feet on the approach. Not very much at all, and he spares it up in the 3rd.
Reggie sporting new glasses?
Yes, in fact, he pointed that out to me chatting to him before the show, and we were discussing how amazing it is when you
can see the pins?
Yes, when you all of a sudden put them on for the first time and you discover what you've been missing.
Oh, don't tell me he thought there were 7 or 8 pins down there. He found out there was 10.
8 on the spare for Reggie.
And 3 and 10 pins left.
Uh-oh. Went by it. He's on it for the 10 box.
Climbs back to within 11, at least temporarily, and Bill Hart will fill the spare in the 4th for his team.
Over to the Brooklyn side this time for a 9 drop.
So he said 2 strikes and a solid 9-pin drop. Not a bad start for Billy Hart.
And still a 20-pin lead for the team. Going for their 4th mark in 5 boxes, and he just slides by. There it is for the 10. Still an 83 half. Bill Hart and his wife Diane live in Pepperell, Mass, with their 2 children, 9-month-old Katrina and 3-year-old Amanda. Bill works as an assistant manager for Star Market. He's a regular bowler at the Hub Bowl in Lunenburg, Mass, and right here at the Londonderry Bowling Center. This could be an interesting shot. The capped wood on the 9-10.
There it goes.
And there it is. Just like that. It had to go. Had to go.
That was strange because you would think he would carry the 9-pin immediately hitting that wood, but went by, and actually another piece of wood coming out of the channel all the way across for the 9.
Back to Paul Berger now.
1, 2, 4, 9.
And no. For Paul Berger, this is his 13th appearance on Stars and Strikes, with an overall record of 9-3. The last time he was on with us was back in the fall when he qualified for the Tournament of Champions with that 464. He came in as the number 2 seed He threw a 437 to beat Mike Morgan and then a 464 to beat Fred Ranella. And there's a spare.
Didn't even work up a sweat, those two matches. I remember saying after he threw the 437 that usually that's when I'd like to bowl against the fella. I figure he's going to come down a little bit. Wrong.
Mark Arnold just catches the head pin. Look at the mix on this ball. Leaves the 5 pin. That's a 9 drop on a spare. Left by his partner, Bill Hart. For another one. No.
Ooh, just sliding by in the left.
Let's see what happens with this wood, though. If that starts to roll backward.
Right like that.
Mark's trying to push it. That may get there. Let's see if it's got enough. Nope. Wasn't at the right angle.
You're right. If it hit it on the red line, it might have.
Yep. 9 box instead. 111 through 7.
They missed 2 singles on both sides of the spare 9s.
Mark Arnold and his wife Dee live in Dover, New Hampshire. Mark works as a carrier for the United States Postal Service. He's a regular at the Lamprey River Lanes in Newmarket and the Exeter Lanes in Exeter. And he's got a 9 box. Once again, the final roll-off for this series held at the Bowlaway Lanes in Rochester. Royal Edgerly and his staff, thanks to them for an outstanding job handling things for us. Reggie Deline fills his spare with a 7. Fills his partner's spare with a 7, I should say.
2, 4, 7. All kinds of wood out front. Shouldn't be any problem for Rich. Well,
think again.
Back. That was strange.
10 box instead. Reggie hasn't been with us for a while. He had a bit of a streak where he was on quite frequently, but we haven't seen him since a little over a year ago when he was here in singles competition, threw a 404 to beat Al Bolduc and then got knocked off the following week by Gary Carrington.
Spare in the 8th for Reggie. So both teams have 4 marks. All of the big marks right now is that double strike at the beginning of the match by this fellow right here, Bill Hart.
He's on the head pin again.
2, 4, 7. Piece of wood coming over and looks like it's going to lock itself up between or behind the 2 and the 4. Not quite.
Oh, yes. He actually got a nice break on that first ball, too. It appeared like the 6 pin would stay up, and he got a nice kick out on that, setting him up for the spare. Boy, he has been right on target. On the head pin again. Is he going to carry another one again? Not this time.
And I think the wood in front of the 5 is too deep to carry the 610.
You have to, if he plays the intersection of those 2 pieces of wood. Oh, no, that might have been what he was trying to do. Went too far. Still, it's going to be an outstanding first game for the team of Hart and Arnold. It'll be a 145 with 5 marks, including the double strike.
Could have been a lot more.
That's right.
But Paul Berger working on a spare. Can cut the gap a little bit. Whoa, it's way to the right.
Just 2 on the spare.
And not the 2 that you would think of. A 6 and a 9.
Oh my, almost.
Paul just made one mistake, came right back. Very nearly cleared those out for the spare, but manages a 10.
You could take the approach, the distance that these 2 guys, Paul Berger and Reggie Deline, stand from the foul line. You could combine their 2 approaches, and I don't think you get all the way to the back.
You're right. This the 5 pin for Paul.
This mark could be the difference between a possible 30-pin lead and maybe a 20-pin lead. There's the spare.
This lead is 23 right now. Minus the fill.
Drifted a little bit left right at the end, but he gets 8, a 130, and a 15-pin difference. Bill Hart and Mark Arnold have a 15-pin lead. They're looking for their 3rd win in a row. Second game. To be started by Reggie Deline. No, Reggie had that one bounce away from him. Like he dropped it. Nice recovery.
Just like his partner, Paul was filling that spare in the first game with just 2 and came right back. Works it out for 10. Pretty good opening games, though, by both teams, 130 and 145.
And another 10 for Reggie. Now Mark Arnold. Mark Arnold and Bill Hart, the red team. Reggie Deline, Paul Berger, the blue team. Half Worcester left.
All the bowlers making a mistake, but certainly recovering after that bad first ball in each frame and working out for 10 boxes.
And the same thing, Half Worcester left again. Oh boy, he's got another great chance to get a 10. Some great pinning here. And he plays the wood for the 10 bucks. Preserving the 15-pin lead. Paul Berger from Hopedale, Mass, and there is the big strike.
Not much doubt about that one. He was real tight in the 1-2 pocket.
First strike for the team. We go along with 5 spares.
This time through the middle, though. 3, 6, 10 on the right, 2, 4 on the left. Another ball for the strike.
Paul and his wife Paula have 2 sons, 15-year-old Damon and 10-year-old Alex. Paul does his bowling at Metro West in Framingham, Mass. Nice 10 box for Paul. Also at Fico's in Franklin, Mass. Nice 10 bucks. We've seen some nice pinning here in the early part of this game.
We are. He's yet to have a pin standing. The second game. Billy Hart on lane 30.
All over the head pin again, and he'll shoot at the 5. And there'll be nothing around it. He's on it for the spare. Fading away a little bit, but he caught it on the way by.
Matches the mark put up in the third by Paul Berger, but his was a strike.
Eight drop. Adding a pin to the lead. No, not quite. A 9-box for Bill Hart, all even here in the second game, so Hart and Arnold holding on to their 15-pin lead, at least to this point. We take a timeout and come back with more on Stars and Strikes doubles as semifinal week continues. Remember, the winners of this match come back for championship week next Sunday. Don't go away. Reggie Deline once again. Reggie from Needham, Mass. Works for General Mass Marketing. Nice opening ball that time, but look at the leave. A 6-7. With wood, though. Let's see. Different strategy possibilities on this one, maybe, although the wood to the left is rolling deeper, so it looks like he's got to go to the right. Not quite. Reggie does a lot of his bowling at the Fairway Sports World in Natick and also at the Hanover Bowlodrome in Hanover, Mass. Another 10-box.
.57 now, the halfway point, game number 2. So trailing by 15.
Another good first ball. This time Reggie has something a little bit more palatable to shoot at. The 3-5. For the spare? No. Chopped it right off. And the 9-box. Chance for Mark Arnold here to add to the lead. And he will shoot at the 1 and the 3.
Both teams seem to be cooling off a little bit this second game. 56 now through 5. Lead down to 14.
Oh, big first ball that time. Nothing touched the 5-pin. Spare in the 6th. Mark number 7 for the team of Hart and Arnold. Don't forget, next Sunday at 12 noon, 2 hours of championship bowling here on Stars and Strikes. Oh, yes, for the spare. I thought for a moment Paul might get robbed on that one.
Looked like the 7-pin was going to stand up, but some help the last minute. There it is.
7 marks for each team now. Paul trying to make it 2 in a row, and he chops through the middle.
Gets the mark on lane 30, and then he comes in full on lane 29. Just 4 on the fill.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. What a shot Paul Berger made. 2 marks in a row.
They played this on the inside. I didn't think he could get the pins to move from left to right, hitting it on the 2-5 side, but he was able to do it 2 in a row.
First time the team of Berger and Deline has had 2 marks in a row in this match. Boy, Bill Hart has been on the head pin every time. That's a 9 drop on a spare.
And he's looking at the 8-pin, trying to make it 2 in a row for his team.
The team of Hart and Arnold hadn't been able to put, still has not been able to put 2 marks in a row since the double strike to start the match.
It's 3 or 4 singles they've missed right now, too. And come back to haunt you.
The lead is 20 right now, but opposite that mark in the 8th.
He's probably saying, stand up. Give me 2 pins to shoot at. And it is the 2 and the 7. Piece of wood behind the 2-pin. Angled toward the 7. Got to hurry with that one.
Nope.
Didn't get enough of the 2.
And a 9 box. So, with Reggie Deline stepping up now to fill that mark in the 8th, can slice into the lead, which is now 19. Slides by the head pin. Takes 5 on the fill.
1, 3, 4, 7, 9.
Maybe not bad with the wood positioned the way it is. Let's see. Oh, yes.
You called it.
3 in a row now for the team. Putting on a late charge here. Nope. Slides by the head pin again.
Fills are really hurting them. He's only had 4, 5, and 4 these last 3 marks.
See if they can make another terrific shot. Not quite this time. So with 4 marks, they're not going to break the 120 mark in this middle game. It'll be a 119 for the team of Berger and Deline, 249 through 2. Hart and Arnold do not have to mark here in the final 2. Mark Arnold to take them, and he does not have to mark in order to maintain the lead.
However,
but he may.
However, striking a 9th for Mark Arnold. Safe to say his butterflies they had 2 weeks ago are gone. It's just a totally different bowler out there in the lanes now.
Oh, how about another one? Yes!
Another double.
A double for each of them now. Bill Hart and Mark Arnold each have a double strike. And Mark will get to stay up there and throw these all-important fill balls now.
That might be an advantage at this point in the game because you're already up there. Right back in there again, a little full this time.
This is going to give them a nice cushion on the lead heading into the 3rd and final game. Oh, how about that? How about that? What a shot. Spare on strike in the 10th. 140 for Hart and Arnold. So add it all up, it's 285 for the team of Hart and Arnold. The lead 36 right now over Paul Berger and Reggie Deline. 1 game to go. We'll be back with it after these words. Back we are, and here are the 5 teams that have already qualified for the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions, which will start in 2 weeks' time. Gary Carrington, Joe Ashline at the top with that 407. And then on down the list, down to Paul St. Pierre and Steve Reno, who are in with their 349. Of course, next week's final score will be the determining factor as for the team that moves in and where they end up in the seeding process. Right now, Bill Hart and Mark Arnold with 2 wins already to their credit, and now they carry a 36-pin lead into Game 3.
Trying to give themselves at least a shot at next week's final match and getting into that Tournament of Champions.
Oh, man. Bill Hart with another strike. That's 5 strikes for the team now. They've had 2 doubles. Making it very tough for Paul Berger and Reggie Deline, who are not bowling badly.
No. They're at 249. That's 125 a game. Just shy of that. But a lot of pins there with the double strikes.
And an 8 bucks. Bill. We get to the point where Paul Berger and Reggie Deline are going to need some strikes too. Try and cut into this lead. Paul Berger misses the head pin. How about that lead? The 7, 8, and 9. And that piece of wood in front is probably going to be in play.
Yeah, that's...
You can actually almost see the deadwood line on that shot, can't you? outstanding
like it
work
to me.
the outstanding work of our crew handling the lighting. Not quite for Paul. $10. So the lead balloons over 40 now.
Four horsemen right, 1, 3, 6, 10.
I'm sure Bill Hart and Mark Arnold have at least got to be thinking, wow, if only we could have this score next week. But of course, it doesn't matter if you don't get there first. So
that's right. Yeah, they would have had a shot at the 407 this week, without a doubt. 8 boxes to go, 42 pin advantage. Another one.
Boy.
A rocking 10 pin.
You usually don't see as many strikes thrown, for whatever reason, in this format. These two guys today are really pouring it on. That is 12 marks now in 23 boxes. And 5 of those 12 marks have been strikes, including 2 doubles. Off target that time, just the 2. On the fill. And an 8. So only 20 pins, those 2 boxes, in spite of the mark. So at least Reggie can come up there knowing that if he puts some kind of a mark up there, he might be able to pick up some ground. There's a big first ball. Solid 9 drop.
It's almost a must on these now. You can't afford to let any of these legitimate spare leads go by the board, being down by 42. He has a 5 pin with a piece of wood nestled next to it on the left. He's right on it. Spare in the 3rd.
Well, a big fill and a mark here would give them at least something to build on. Pretty good hit again with the 5 pin.
This time all by itself. No.
Not this time. So it'll come down to the final 6 boxes, and Bill Hart and Mark Arnold will be nursing what is still a 33 pin lead. That's what stands between them and a trip to the championship match. If they can hold on to this lead, they'll have their 3rd win in a row. We'll come back in a minute. Bill Hart. Has he missed the head pin today?
I don't think he has.
Well, he still hasn't. Look at that.
Not only is he hitting the head pin, but he's hitting the pocket solid. It's going to be right at the 10 pin. Can't be too far left, or that wood's going to spin away from the 10 pin. No problem.
Got it.
Every other box so far for the team.
And again, another 9 drop. Yes, 2 more marks. That's 14 now in the match for the team. And they are on their way to an outstanding triple. Meanwhile, Paul Berger and Reggie Deline are struggling to get it going here in the 3rd game. and they could not afford any struggle time, coming in 36 pins down.
And now it's back up to 43, and they still have a mark working in the 6th.
All the action here on Stars and Strikes Doubles brought to you in part by our friends at Somerville Lumber, where you can get it right the first time. Somerville Lumber, thanks for their support. Candlepin bowling here on the wins. It'll be an open frame for Paul Berger in the 6th. And as Mark Arnold comes up for his final 2, we move into the last rotation, and he will have an opportunity to put the lead over 50. Well, Hart and Arnold haven't had a laugher.
No.
This, as close as they've come to one, it's not over yet, but...
It might be.
Oh, maybe it is. Maybe it is. Strike number 6.
Just barely touches the head pin, leaves the 2-pin. Wood comes rocking back and forth and finally knocks the 2-pin down for a strike on spare. 3 in a row and 5 marks out of 7 boxes. I'm going to be over the 400 mark. Well, I shouldn't say that until...
No, I think that's a safe bet. And they're at 106 already. They only needed 115. Well, I don't know, Dan, what did you do? It's going to take strikes now, and a lot of them for Paul and Reggie. Oh, there's a spare. Mark number 11 for Berger and Deline. Their 3-string total is not going to be that shabby. It's just not going to be enough on this day.
And it's 8. The 5 and 8 left.
And another mark. But spares aren't enough right now. Bill Hart started this match with a double strike.
Kind of set the tone for the whole match, really.
He'll now finish it for his team.
And what else is new? Hits the head pin again. This time a little full. Leaves the 3, 6, and 7.
This might be the first bad leave he's had all day.
Bad leave? Where? Where's the bad leave?
Looked pretty easy to me.
Oh. Actually went almost around it without getting the 7-pin. Spare in a 9. Oh well, hello. Good place for that one, and you're up by 48.
Wouldn't be surprised if he makes this. It's a spare leave, isn't it?
Sure.
Sure it is. A 9-box, 127, 412 for the team of Bill Hart and Mark Arnold. And they have won their 3rd match in a row. And their scores have increased every week.
Ball flush on the head pin, just drove it straight back. Just kind of riding out the storm here now.
Nine in the 9th.
So Norm Bork and Bruno DeFeo will try to stop the steamroller of Hart and Arnold next week. Championship week. One of those 2 teams will make it to the Tournament of Champions.
Spare in the 10th for Paul Berger. That's 13 marks for the team of Berger and Deline, 16 for Hart and Arnold, but the big difference, those 2 double strikes. And Paul Berger throws the strike on the final ball of the match. A 128 and a not too shabby 377 for the team of Berger and Deline, but just not nearly enough to fight off Bill Hart and Mark Arnold, who make it 3 in a row. We'll come back and tell you about championship week and talk to all the bowlers after these words. All right, welcome back to the Londonderry Bowling Center. Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy, and looking back through the record book, this is only the second year of Stars and Strikes doubles, of course, but no team has come up from that first match to win 4 in a row and get to the Tournament of Champions. But Bill Hart and Mark Arnold have put themselves in position to at least try to do it.
That's right. It's not an impossible task. I think they're trying to buy this score, though. They want to use it again next week, but I told them they can't do that. But the way they're bowling, the marks were fairly close. There's only 1 or 2 marks difference between the two teams, but like you said, the difference was those 2 double strikes.
Isn't it funny, last week at the end of the show, we were kidding around with Bill and with Mark about the fact that the first week, Bill kind of carried it, the second week, Mark carried it, and then they were talking about this week, maybe they'd both have to get hot. That's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened. And I was talking to Paul and Reggie, too. 377 would have won every other match except for this one.
All right, well, let's talk to the bowlers now and give away some of this prize money and talk a little bit more about next week. First of all, our runners-up, Paul Berger, Reggie Deline, come on up. Paul and Reggie, the third prize money, split $250, and boy, you just, more than anything else, you just ran into a buzzsaw. We got a team that's hot, and they're clicking right now.
Yeah, they just threw too many strikes for us. Yeah. They took turns with their doubles, and it's kind of just too big a mountain to climb.
Well, it's funny because right when it looked like you might have a chance to climb back in, right at the end of that second game, they throw another double on you.
Oh yeah, I was wishing they bowled the score they had the first match, but they couldn't. I didn't expect that.
Well, that's what's been going on, though. They're kind of increasing the score every match, making it difficult. We've never had a team come up from the bottom to win it all. They'll have a chance to do it next week. Well, I know we're going to see you in a couple of weeks because we're going to see you on the singles Tournament of Champions. Reggie, always good to see you as well, and hope to see both of you back soon. Thanks very much. Congratulations. Paul Berger, Reggie Deline, and now let's have Bill Hart and Mark Arnold come on up. 3 wins in a row. They are the only the third team overall here on Stars and Strikes doubles to win as many as 3 matches in a row. One team that did it was Steve Vadney and Joe Ashline in the Tournament of Champions last year. One match to go here. Now, when you guys qualified for the show, did you talk at all before the first show about making a run like this and trying to get into the championship?
I never even met him before today. Hey, what happens, happens.
Hey, we joked about the fact that you both might have to get hot, and that's what happened.
Exactly what happened. Bowling against these 2 guys, you have to really get hot. We both answered the call.
Get the strikes together like that. It's pretty tough to beat. 2 doubles and 3 strings, pretty tough to beat, especially in doubles competition. All right, next week, number 1 seeded team, Norm Bork and Bruno DeFeo. You've put yourself in position, so now all you have to do is enjoy it and see what happens.
Hey, just gotta keep shooting.
We'll see you next week, guys. Thanks very much. All right, Bill Hart and Mark Arnold, 3 wins in a row. Back to the ladder we go. It's going to be number 1 against number 5, and this doesn't happen very often, but this is why we have this format, the step-ladder format. Anything can happen. A team gets hot. That's exactly what's happened, and it'll be Hart and Arnold against DeFeo and Bork next week.
Yeah, tough team, but these guys are really seasoned veterans now after these 3 wins, so it should shape up to be a good match.
All right, again, it'll be championship week next Sunday here on the Winds. It'll all start at 12 noon. We'll have our championship match in singles, and then at 1 o'clock here at the Londonderry Bowling Center, our championship match for doubles, of course, to give us our final qualifiers for the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. Be a big Sunday, next Sunday at 12 noon. We hope you're here. Until then, have a good week, everybody. For Dan Murphy and the whole TV50 Sports crew, I'm Doug Brown. We'll see you later.